So what is our learning objective for today's section? So this slide, as you can see, lists 8 capabilities you will build today and show the vertical flow. We start off with prompt engineering, reasoning, AI agents, automation, business outcome. And that's explain why we sequence the material the way we did. So I want to spend a genuine time on sequencing because it is the single biggest reason training like this succeeds or fails. Notice the order of the vertical flow on the right. Prompt engineering comes first, then reasoning, then AI agent, then automation, then business outcome. That is not an arbitrary syllabus order. It is a dependency chain. You cannot build a reliable reasoning framework on top of a sloppy prompt because a reasoning framework like chain of thought or React is really just a structured prompt with extra step built in. If the underlying prompt discipline is weak, adding reasoning structure just gives you a more elaborate way to be wrong. So likewise, you cannot build a trustworthy agent on top of unreliable reasoning because an agent is fundamentally a reasoning loop wrapped around tool access. And tool access without sound reasoning is how automations go wrong in expensive, sometimes embarrassing ways. So here is my ask for today. Resist the temptation to skip ahead mentally to the AI agents section just because it sounds more exciting than prompt anatomy. Every organization I have trained that tried to jump straight to agent deployment without first building prompt and reasoning discipline ended up rebuilding that foundation later anyway, just under time pressure, after something had already gone wrong in production. So the 8 bullet points on the left of this slide are listed roughly in the order we'll cover them, and each one is genuinely a prerequisite or requirement for the one below it. One more thing with what naming was getting straight explicitly here is prompt debugging. It's on this list too, and it's not an afterthought bolted onto the end. Debugging discipline is what separates a team that uses AI occasionally from a team that can depend on AI daily. We will spend real time on it in part 4 with a repeatable process rather than trial and error guesswork. So if you already have some experience with AI tool, you may recognize some of today's content. Use that time to actively map each concept onto a real task from your own role rather than passively re-listening. The value of repeated exposure is in the transfer, not the repetition. So the dependency chain shows here prompting, reasoning, agents, automation, outcome is also a useful maturity self-assessment. Whichever stage your team is, whichever how do I put this? Whichever stage your team is, weakness as its at its very core, likely where your next AI initiative will stumble, regardless of how advanced that layer above above it looks. So keep a running list as we go today of one real task from your own work that maps to each of the 8 objectives. We'll use that list directly in the closing exercise on the final slide. Now, another common misconception here rather. A common misconception is that these 8 objectives are independent modules you could take in any order, like a buffet. They are not. I must be honest with you, they are not. They compound. Structured prompting makes chain of thoughts more reliable, which makes React safer to hand real tool access to, which is what makes an AI agent trustworthy in the first place. So just note this. So with this roadmap set, let's define our foundational term precisely, starting from first principle. What is AI? What is prompt engineering?